Welcome back to another Fishing Tip Friday. In today's video, I'm going to be talking all about my top 3 favorite bass fishing lures. So in the last couple of episodes of Fishing Tip Fridays, we've covered a ton of different types of lures, from hard body lures, spinnerbaits, rattle traps, jerkbaits, stuff like that, to soft plastics, worms, crawls, lizards, stuff like that. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about my all-time 3 favorite bass fishing lures, the lures I fish with the most, and I always have some in my tackle box when I'm out on the water. And to start off, we're going to be talking about a swim bait. Personally, my favorite is going to be a hard break body swim bait. This is one of my absolute favorite little bluegill imitating swim baits, and it's just hard break body. It's got 4 pieces right there. You can see they have such a natural, realistic looking action when you're working these through the water. I love that you can retrieve them fast and burn them on the surface, make them look like a fling bait fish. You can kind of pop them and jerk them almost like a glide bait and kind of slow work them like an injured bait fish, or you can just retrieve them slowly like a bluegill would normally be swimming around. So one of my favorite lures to throw. I always have these in the box, and I've caught some of my biggest bass, including multiple over 6 pounds on these kind of swim baits. My second favorite lure that I always have in my box, or I actually have quite a few of them, are swim jigs. You can see it's pretty beat up, but in a good way. I've caught a lot of fish on this jig. So what a swim jig is it's a jig like a football jig, but what's different about it is you can see that the head is designed a little bit different. So 1, they're lighter, but 2, they're also designed a little more, I want to say, water dynamically, so like aerodynamically, but from the water. I'm sure there's a scientific word for that, but so that they can glide through the water better, and they're designed to be retrieved a lot faster than you would like a football jig. My favorite thing to do is throw a big swim bait, white swim bait, on the back of a white swim jig, cast it out, and then kind of retrieve it pretty fast while also adding some kind of frantic pops in there, because it imitates a great looking fling bait fish, sort of like, it can imitate a shad, bluegill, any sort of different color you work with can imitate different bait fish, but it just imitates a great fling little bluegill or anything like that. And I love throwing these. I always seem, even on the slowest of days, especially here in South Texas, to be able to pick some up on a beautiful little swim jig. Now, you gotta prepare yourself. My last favorite lure that I throw a ton, I've thrown it so many times in videos. I throw them in creeks, ponds, lakes, oceans. Not oceans, this is bass fishing, but you know what I mean. I throw them everywhere. It's a pretty big lure. It's the Ned Rig. So a Ned Rig is kind of I don't want to say controversial lure, but it is definitely an interesting lure that a lot of people talk about because, well, that doesn't look like a big bass lure. You saw me show a giant swim jig and a big break body bluegill swim bait. I have 12-inch glide baits, and I have 12-inch long Senkos and worms. So why would for the same big bass would I be throwing a tiny little worm on the back of a jig head? So Ned Rig is interesting because it's more of a finesse bait. And what a finesse bait is it's designed to be typically worked on a very light bait caster or even spinning rods. Whenever I'm throwing a Ned Rig, I'm always throwing it on a light spinning rod, and they're designed to be very finessey. That was weird. I've caught fish well upwards of 4 or 5 pounds on a tiny little Ned Rig just like this. I definitely just broke something. There you go. Those are my 3 favorite bass fishing lures of all time. A break body swim bait, a swim jig, a white one specifically, like color-wise, just because I really like the way they like imitate a little shad or bait fish running through the water. And then a Ned Rig, and that is what I love throwing, and that is also where I've caught my biggest bass on. So thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And drop a comment down below on what your 3 favorite bass fishing lures are of all time. They can be any lure, any type, anything like that. So thank y'all very much again for watching. I will see you in the next fishing adventure or Fishing Tip Friday. Until next time, peace out.